Hi, James. This is David Fleming. How are you doing today?
Dave, I'm fine, thank you.
Thank you. Good to hear. Can you tell us just quickly what the $1,500 invoice that we haven't paid yet, what that invoice is for?
Well, that was just the final invoice for the elevator project. As you will see, the original amount remaining was for $2,066, and I marked it down to $1,500 just because you all have been good to pay in the past and, had several projects for us. So I just went ahead and marked that down, and then to $1,500.
Well, I guess that'll teach you a lesson, won't it?
Just as a good gesture, yeah. then I hadn't been talking with my bookkeeper, and we hadn't been paid for a while. It was back in July, so I was just wanting to call Sue the other day to follow up to see what the status was, to make sure it wasn't lost or something.
Okay, I appreciate that, James. I think the real issue we have is concerning a battery backup system for the elevator that we subsequently paid to have installed on our own dime, outside of the original scope of work. The question is, why weren't we spec'd in your initial work and the work done by WIK with an elevator with a battery backup system, so that should the power fail, that the elevator can be brought to the nearest floor and the occupants evacuated from the elevator by battery?
Well, it wasn't required by code, for one thing, and I remember being at the meetings when we originally reviewed the drawings, and I remember Mr. Saffer telling me to keep it basic. So,
basic, Mr. Swigert, means also safe. It just meant, I think, when I made that remark without Muzak and shiny glass doors or things like that, I'm concerned that that is a very important safety issue. We learned after the fact that if you were in that elevator and the power went out, you were going to stay in that elevator, period. And if the elevator was on the top floor, there would be no way to access the occupants from the top. That is a huge safety problem for anybody using that, and it costs the commission a little bit of money to correct that. And we,
Mr. Saffer, you would have paid for it regardless if it would have been in the original
but we feel that
contract
you should have brought it to our attention.
Excuse me?
We feel that you should have brought it to our attention as our engineer and architect to tell us about that. We are not elevator experts. We had no idea about that until after it had been installed, and we learned afterwards that this was a very important safety concern.
With all due respect, sir, your appointed project manager, Mr. Martin, was aware that there was no battery backup, because he said that he specifically wanted to learn that elevator up and down, no pun intended, in case there would be an issue like that, so he knew how to get somebody out of there. But he was aware of it.
He discussed that with you?
He did say he discussed that with us.
Did he discuss that with you, Mr. Swigert?
Yes.
Well, you didn't discuss it with us.
Melvin Martin.
He was your appointed project manager, sir. I mean,
I remember that.
what I'm saying is you would have had to have paid for it if it was in the original design or not. And if you remember, I also knocked some money off at the beginning of the project off of my fee just to help the project out, because I know we were over budget. I knocked, I can't remember the exact amount, but it was $1,000 or $1,500 off, just to help the project along. The original design, if you remember, had a ramp out at the end of the building where we had a fire stair that we were taking off to try to...
That would have been all very nice, but the cost of doing that was enormous, and we had to be
but at the same
fiscally
time,
responsible.
we went back and redesigned it to make it work. Had no extra cost, no cost to you whatsoever. We worked a lot with the contractor to make it work, to get the elevator in the building so he would have an elevator and the project was not scrapped.
This is for the work we did.
We worked very hard to make this work. I'm sorry that you're upset over the battery backup. I still feel that the hold my money is not right, especially $1,500 over all the, you know, like I say, it's not more than that off of the cost already. You know, I'm not $566 off this last invoice because you have been a good client and you paid on time and everything. So I'm sorry that there might have been a lack of communication, maybe on my part, or I felt that your appointed project manager was keeping you up to date on what was being discussed. I'm sorry that's not the case, but you know, that was my last invoice on that. We also did the lighting project. It came in a good bit under your budget, and I understand it isn't turned out nice. So you know, I don't know. I just don't feel it's right to hold my money the last payment for the elevator project.
James, this is David again.
Sir.
Thank you. Yes, the lighting project is very nice, and we do enjoy the elevator as well. It's unfortunate for the miscommunication. I personally do remember, since you've mentioned it, it does remind me that Melvin Martin talked about wanting to learn how to do an evacuation procedure with the elevator. And I do appreciate the discount of $566.30. I don't really think we're disputing this invoice for $1,500 at this point. I think mostly we were upset about the battery backup system with the elevator and needed to talk to you about it. And I think that's what we've done. I don't have any more questions for you on the matter. Of course, whoever would have done the battery backup system, we would have had to pay for that, and that's where we are. There's nothing different about that.
Now, at the same time, I just want to be clear. Now, the elevator inspectors are very stringent. Now, if he would have felt that there was an issue by not having it, it would have definitely been brought to our attention by not meeting code at the time. He would not have passed the elevator.
Right.
He felt that that was an issue. They are very stringent. I mean, it's really their, when the elevator inspector inspects an elevator, it's their name on it. So
Private door.
it would have been brought to our attention. It would not. You would not have got a pass for occupancy otherwise. So
right.
That's why I felt, you know, we had done our job, and again, we kept it basic because it was a messy, very messy project, as you know, and I know that it disrupted the courthouse, and I know it was loud and it was dirty and everything, but I think it now serves the purpose. You do have an elevator in your courthouse now after 120 years that it's never had one. So, and it was a difficult design challenge as well. I mean, there's only so much room to work with. So, and
okay.
1,500 is not a lot of money.
No, it's not a lot of money.
To you or to me, I don't want to act like it's been significant, but I just feel that we did our job. Now, again, I'm sorry that there might have been a breakdown in communication, but I just want you to understand that I felt that I was communicating it to your appointed project manager.
Understood, James. I appreciate that. And we're going to pay this invoice for $1,500 today and settle that.
I really appreciate that.
And yes, it was a very difficult project, and I think that you did a good job. I think we all feel you did a good job. The miscommunication is unfortunate. We appreciate you talking with us about it, and we'll just go forward from there.